Hi, in previous video we animated this tree, and in this short video I will explain the animation material parameters. So first of all, here we have the wind actor, and the first thing I want to show is that you can attach a normal wind directional source actor to it. And in this case, the strength of the wind and the direction of the wind will be transmitted to this wind directional actor. So for example, here I added a physics cloud, a chaos cloud, and if I play, you see that the cloud is animated in the same direction with the same speed than the tree. So for example, if I go here and I change the direction and I increase the speed and I play, you see now the cloud is animated in this direction and with the maximum speed. So that's the first thing. Next, I will speak about the parameters of the animations. So here, if we take this tree, the parameters are in the material layer instance. And so we have the common parameters and the parameters per level. So if you remember, we have 4 levels here. So the trunk, the big branches, small branches, and the individual leaves. And here we have those parameters for each level. And this material support 4 levels. And then we have some common parameters. So here you can see our textures with the pivots. And the other stuff I will explain now. This example is now part of our example project that you can get on Faba together with the plugin. And if you want to study those things that I will show you now, I recommend you first to take this wind actor to reset its rotation, so it pointed like this to 0, and then put its speed to the maximum, which is 10. And this way we can see those things moving a little bit more. So first of all, the general rule of this shader is that if you take the direction of wind here and you see those sticks here, you see that the stick that is along the direction of the wind, it doesn't move a lot, and the one opposing the direction of the wind, it bends. So that's how this shader actually works. I would say that's the realistic way to bend those branches. So in those shared wind settings here, we have our 2 textures with the pivots, and we have this texture that actually comes with Unreal, but I also copy it in the plugin. And these textures represents the wind. So the alpha, if I zoom here, the alpha represents the wing strength, and the RGB channels represent like a noise. And we will see how that's used later. But basically the material, what it will do, it will pan this texture and world space along the direction of the wind and apply this bend force to the branches corresponding to this texture. So it will calculate, map the position and the world space of a branch to this position and this texture, and then if it's white, that will bend more, and if it's black, it will bend less. And that looks like waves, and that's how this movement is generated. So here we have another parameter, wind gust for scale, and so it's a little bit like this. Here there is an example here you have those sticks, and distance between sticks are 50 centimeters. So if I put the wind gust force scale exactly at 50, so you see all those sticks are moving exactly in the same way. If I put it a little bit more, you see it they're a little bit more, they're like following each other, and like a value of this set creates the different effect. So you can play with this number to obtain such kind of effects. Now let's check the wind setting parameters. So this sticks is very simple. There's just one pivot and one extent. You can show it here. You see there is the pivot from here to here and the extent. So that's how it works. And so the first parameter here, dampening radius multiplier, it defines how the branch bend. If the dampening radius multiplier is equals to 1, the maximal bend will be reached exactly at the location of the extent. If here the dampening radius multiplier is 0.3, the maximum bend will be reached here, and then the rest of the branch will be just rotating straight, and that is something that could be used for like leaves, for example, when the base of the leaf bends and the rest is straight. If it's 0, the branch will just rotate straight from the beginning. And if it's more than 1, you can imagine that your extent was multiplied by 3, and it's the maximum rotation is obtained after the somewhere here. So that's this first parameter. It defines how the branch bend. Now, second parameter is the local wind frequency, and it's very obvious. So less this number, slower is the frequency. So this branch here, it has 0.1 frequency, and you see it moves like slowly. And this one, it has 0.9 frequency, and it moves very fast. And this number is actually multiplied by the speed of the wind. So here we have the speed of the wind 10, which is actually normalized to 1. And if I put like a 2, you see, they move much less. Now, next parameter is the max rotation. So also pretty obvious. More you have the max rotation, more it can bend. Here, between 0.1 and 0.6. 0.6 bends a lot. And finally, the last parameter of this settings is the noise. So it's called wind random rotation change rate. It also takes this texture, the RGB values, and apply the random noise to the rotation. And the best way to see it is to look like this. You can see that those branches, they move sideways. I can actually just here increase the influence to something bigger. You see they move left and right. They also apply the noise in this direction. It's added to the normal movement. And this number, it works a little bit in the other direction. So if the number is big, like 3 here, the frequency of this noise is low. So you see this branch goes left and right slowly. And if the number is small, the frequency of the noise is high. So you can see this branch goes left and right much quicker. So that's more or less all of those parameters. There's another one I forgot to explain, is the local horizontal frequency. And this actually, as I said, the texture is panned along the direction of the wind. And this is located, this is directed by this parameter, but you can also pan it in the horizontal direction, so like this. And this is located by this parameter, and this adds a little bit of variety to the movement. So that's all for those parameters. And basically what the material does is it's combining all those. For each level, it applies the parameter of this level, and of course moves the part according to the movement of its parent. So it's like a skeletal mesh. And just to illustrate it pretty quickly, we can reduce the window to something reasonable, and we can take, for example, the leaves, which is the level 4, and here we can like add some noise to those leaves, and you will see the leaves here started to move much faster in all directions. So that's basically how this material works. It's pretty much the same thing that the Pivot Painter Foliage Shader that's coming with Unreal, but we modified it slightly and added some our own stuff and renamed some parameters. But basically, if you know one, it's the same thing that the other.